Hey, so today we're making calendula infused oil, and calendula is actually just marigold.
Oh wow, marigold? My grandma had marigold in her garden.
Yeah, it's really good for the garden actually. So these are just the flower petals. They're dried, and I actually got them at Whole Foods in the bulk section.
Oh wow, they smell really good too.
Yeah, they smell really fragrant, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
So I got them at Whole Foods in the bulk herb section, but I'm sure that you can find them at other herb stores or other natural whole food stores and stuff like that. So
And maybe even if you have them in your garden, just hang the flower upside down and let it dry.
yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point. So I got organic, and the reason that I got organic is because if herbs are irradiated, a lot of herbs are irradiated if they're not organic, so that will kind of defeat the medicinal properties of them. So you want to go for organic and avoid ones that don't say organic on them.
What does that mean, irradiated?
They're basically sprayed, and they're sprayed with different chemicals and like pesticides, so that they don't have insects eating the petals and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so you don't really want that because it will defeat the purpose of having something that's going to be medicinal and nourishing to you. You know?
That makes sense. So how do we get started?
Okay, well, first let me tell you a little bit about why you might like this, especially during the summertime. Marigold or calendula has a lot of skin healing properties. It's an antimicrobial, it's an antifungal, it's antiviral, and anti-inflammatory, and it's also good for insect bites or bee stings.
Wow.
Yeah.
And a sunburn probably too then.
Yeah, it helps with skin rejuvenation, so it's really good for healing skin or even minor wounds. It's good for cradle cap, it's even good for bruises. There's really a vast array of uses that you could use this marigold infused oil for. It's even good for treating acne or yeast infections. So really there's a lot of reasons that you might want to have marigold in your first aid cabinet.
And so, the oil, do you just store it in a bottle after you make it, or?
Yeah, you store it in a bottle. I'm going to be making it today with extra virgin olive oil for the infusion.
Okay.
Extra virgin olive oil is light sensitive, so you want to keep it away from the sun. After you make the infused oil, you want to keep it in a dark cupboard or in an opaque bottle.
Okay.
Yeah, so good, really great question. Okay, so basically to make an infused oil, there's two ways. There's the folk way or the slow way, the slow method it's called, and you put the marigold in a jar, top it off with olive oil, leave it in the windowsill for like 4 to 6 weeks, and shake it every day. I've never made it this way because I'm impatient. So you can make it using the quick method, and to do that you just heat the oil with the herb, and just make sure it stays around 100 degrees Fahrenheit. 100 degrees Fahrenheit, definitely not exceeding 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So,
And why is that?
because you're going to start damaging it. The heat is going to basically ruin the medicinal properties of it, because it's going to start cooking it in a way, you know?
Oh, okay.
So it's not going to be good. You want to preserve all the nutrients and the medicinal properties, and if it's heated too high, you're not going to preserve it that way.
Okay, so, could you show me how to do it now?
Yeah, so for this recipe, you're just going to need, I like to use a crock pot, but you could even do it on your stovetop. Make sure though that you have, especially if you're doing it on your stovetop, this little temperature measurer, and you could put it in there. So let's get started. So we need a cup of the marigold or calendula.
Okay, so this says it's a cup. So should I pack it down, or should it be kind of loose?
It could be that's fine. Don't pack it too firmly. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Put it in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so here is 8 ounces of the calendula flower petals. I'm just going to dump it into the crock pot. Okay, now we need a cup and a half.
Oh, okay.
Or 12 ounces of the extra virgin olive oil.
Do I fill it up to that line?
Yeah, that's perfect. I got cold pressed extra virgin olive oil.
Put it in here?
Yep. Perfect. And I just need another half a cup. So here's
Okay.
half a cup thing.
Here's
Thanks.
that.
Yeah, you can make infused oils with a lot of different things. This is an infused oil using cayenne powder. It's a cayenne infused oil. I'm just showing you as an example that infused oils can be made out of so many different herbs.
Oh wow, so you can do it with the dried herb, or you could do it with the powder herb?
Yeah, absolutely. You could even do it with the fresh herb, but you have to dry it first, so.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna also just put this 1.5 cups of olive oil on top of the flower petals.
Oh, okay.
And I'm gonna turn my crock pot on.
So you're just stirring it so that you make sure that the petals are in the oil.
Yeah, and actually, can I have a little bit more of the olive oil?
Yeah. Is it not fully submerged?
Yeah, I want to make sure that the petals are covered. So I'm actually going to put a little bit more in to make sure the petals are covered, and that's okay. You don't have to be so exacting with the recipe.
Okay.
So I probably wound up putting in about 2 cups. My the bowl that I'm using is pretty wide at the bottom, so. Okay, so there we go. I'm setting my crock pot to warm because I found that if it gets any, the simmer or the low, it's just too high. It can get up to like 200 degrees. So, and I'm gonna put my little thermometer in there. You don't have to necessarily put a cap on. You could just leave it like that if you want. You could put a top on.
So how long do you leave it in there for?
So you should let it infuse in this quick method for 1 to 5 hours. The longer the better. I'm probably going to let it sit for about 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
On low?
On low, or this is warm actually. Make sure, again, it doesn't go over 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay. So I guess let's wait until 3 hours.
Yeah, so we'll see you again soon in about 3 hours.
See you soon.